John Kasich was the winner of yesterday's Republican debate hosted by the Fox News channel, simply because for everyone within the Republican Party, with the exception of Donald Trump, everybody has become a pathetic shell of their former selves. Not that their former selves was any better. The whole night, the whole evening was spent on attacking Donald Trump, both from the moderators as well as the two shills, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. It's very obvious that they're shills because they are simply mouthpieces for the special interests and all the money that they pull into their respective campaigns. They used to run on their own individual ideas and policies and what have you. But now it has become this pathetic schoolyard bullying attempt in which all they do is to lob attacks against the frontrunner, which is obviously Mr. Trump. The Republican establishment is, of course, shaking in their boots, but only for the reason that Mr. Trump is outspoken in his ideas and in his political ideology. It's not necessarily that the Republican Party, the elites within the Republican Party disagree. They just don't like it to be so outwardly outspoken. I believe that's a major bit of hypocrisy there. Consider the case of Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney suddenly, out of nowhere, starts this campaign of vitriolic attacks against Mr. Trump. And it's interesting that 4 years ago when Romney won the Republican nomination, he was actively courting Donald Trump's endorsement, which he gained. And now, 4 years later, because it's not so opportunistic for him to be on Donald Trump's side, he decides to attack him. And it just goes to show you what a corrupt person Mitt Romney is and was and has always been. And it goes to show you how corrupt the Republican establishment is and how corrupt this black-white paradigm is in our political infrastructure. John Kasich was the winner because he simply was able to avoid the fiasco. And because John Kasich just stood there essentially and was outside of this unnecessary drama, that makes Donald Trump the winner. Because everybody knows who Trump is. Everybody knows the persona of Donald J. Trump. And what's sad here is that people were getting to know Marco Rubio. People were getting to know Ted Cruz. But because they're now in panic mode and because the special interests are saying, hey, we don't care about your individual ideas, all you need to do is to start attacking Trump, then they start debasing themselves and start attacking Mr. Trump because they are puppets of special interests. Look at Marco Rubio. All he did throughout the past couple of weeks was to make these ridiculous insults at Mr. Trump, insinuating, different, making sexual innuendos and all sorts of things. It was such a reversal from his previously composed and articulate demeanor. Same thing with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz comes on this platform that he's this wonderful Christian, that he's a man of God, and that he prayerfully considers all things in his politics and in his life. Well, did you prayerfully consider lying and lying and lying about the front runner, Mr. Trump, because he is the front runner? Did you prayerfully consider that your jealousy was getting the best of you and that you were also debasing yourself in launching these horrible insults and impugning the reputation and impugning the character of Mr. Trump? Were you prayerfully considering the impact that making public lies what kind of impact that has on your own children and the children of people who are looking up to you. I wonder if the Holy Spirit inspired you to go out in public in front of millions of Americans and tell big-faced lies after big-faced lies. I wonder what the Holy Spirit would say about lying. I wonder what Jesus Christ would say about lying. You are lying, sir, about your Christianity. You're lying about your Christian faith. You're nothing but a phony. At least Mr. Trump has the guts to speak his mind. You know what you're getting with Mr. Trump. The Bible speaks very clearly about those who are lukewarm. It is better, if you are going to be, quote unquote, a sinner, that you demonstrate that up front. Be a man about that. It is better for you to be upfront about your shortcomings and your failures than to pretend that you're this noble, great Christian man, and instead you're just a weasel. You're a liar. You're a thief, and you're a hypocrite. That's why the Republican establishment has fallen apart in recent weeks and in recent months. They simply will not be a stand-up party. And the only person that is solidifying strength into the party is Donald Trump. The fact that the Republican Party, the elites within the party are trying to stymie that progress. It makes no sense other than to say that there are special interests involved. There are conspirators of special interests involved in making sure that Mr. Trump does not do well, and that Mr. Trump does not take the White House, does not take the nomination. And I'm going to make something very, very clear to the Republican establishment. If you do not nominate Donald Trump as your man to take on Hillary Clinton, we, the supporters of Trump, will not follow anyone else. Because following anyone else is just like following Hillary Clinton, but in a different suit. That's all it is. Mr. Trump has brought so many issues that you, the elites within the Republican Party, simply do not want to talk about. You, the elites within the Republican Party, are traitors to the American people, and we are tired of it. We will not follow anyone except Donald J. Trump. So my message is very clear. Do not mess this up.